If you're like me and have just got your hands on the Evolution Mitre saw and are looking to assemble it, then you are in the right place, because in this video I'm going to do just that. Before we get started, I just want to ask that if you find this video useful, please go ahead and smash the like button. It really does help out the channel and I will really appreciate it. And if you have bought this saw, make sure to check out the links in the descriptions for other videos that I've made on this Mitre saw. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is just get everything out of the box. It does make it a hell of a lot easier if you can see everything that you need to assemble all in one place. So I'm going to do that first and I will catch you once I've got everything laid out. Now, this is everything that comes in the box. There is quite a lot here. So I've got the two blades, both of the main parts of the Mitre saw itself. And then I've got all of these sort of screwy, bolty, slidey thingies that needs to be put together. Now, if you don't have one of these screwdrivers like me with the changeable bits, it's nice to know that Evolution have actually included on the back of the Mitre saw the Allen key that you will need. I personally hate Allen keys, so I would much rather use one of these, but if you do not have one, yeah, you've got that there, and you can do all of the assembly just using that. So starting off with the actual base of the Mitre saw here, first thing I recommend you do is just lift this handle here and set it to 0. Then you can go ahead and grab this bit here, and this is a super simple first step. Just slide that into the front here and tighten that right up. Now, this is actually the stop for the angle, so once you've done that up really tight, you're no longer going to be able to move this from side to side. So just loosen if you did want to turn it to another angle. Next thing we're going to do is grab these. There are 2 of these in total, and these just go on either side of the Mitre saw, just to give you a bit of extra workspace when you've got timber on there. Now, to do this, you just go ahead and loosen up the bolts that are already in the actual saw when it's in the box. So you can just tighten those up, and it's going to help to have some sort of Allen key, or if you've got a screwdriver like me with the right bit inside, that's obviously going to make it a lot simpler. So just make sure you take out both of these, otherwise the black plastic will not fit in there. Then you'll be able to slide these in using those same bolts to tighten that up. So that one's in, and you'll know it's in because it should be firm and not have any wobble in it. Then turn that around and do the exact same thing on the other side, just like that. The next thing you're going to want to do is grab this part here, so the 2 metal rods that's going to keep the actual head of the Mitre saw in place, and just slide this in the back of the saw, keeping the handle pointed upwards. Then go ahead and grab this orange little toggle here, and that will push into here with the spring, keep the spring in there, and just tighten this up. And that is going to prevent this sliding back and forth. Now, once that's in place, you can grab the actual head of the Mitre saw, and I'll just show you. There are 2 holes in the back of it, and this is going to line up with those 2 rods that you've just put into the base of it there. So you're just going to want to line that up and carefully slide that on. Just slide that on like so. Now, that should push back, and hopefully you heard it, but there'll be a satisfying little click there, and that's going to be all that you need to actually hold this on. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is get the little bag here that comes with this orange bit and a big screw in it. You just want to get that out, push that over here, and then screw that in place with that same bit that we used earlier. Once that thread is slightly done up, just go ahead and grab your cable, push that behind here, because this exists really just to keep the cable out of your way when you're using the saw. And once that's in there, you can fully tighten that up, and that's just going to keep that secure and out of the way of the blade when you're actually using this saw. Now, once you've attached that orange clip, you'll be able to use the one in front and that one to keep your cables out of the way and nicely stored. It's a long lead on this saw, so this is a nice feature to have. Okay, the next thing we're going to put on is this bit here, and this is just a clamp to hold the wood down. This is actually, you only get one of these, which is pretty standard for a Mitre saw. I'm going to put it on the left-hand side, but it's entirely up to you if you would rather have this on the right-hand side. The whole idea of this is it's meant to be quick to switch out, so don't think about it too much, but for now, just to show you, I am actually going to position it here. So I'm going to have mine facing backwards because I probably won't use this too much. Just slide it right down there. You'll know when it's gone deep enough, like that one. Out the way, so when I'm not using it, it's not going to interfere with my wood, but close enough that I'll be able to easily flip it around should I need it. Now, this bit is very cool. You're not going to want to have this on all the time because it'll just get in your way, but should you need it, you can just slide this into the hole on the front of the Mitre saw. And that's all you're going to need to actually fix it in place. You've got this little lever here, which you can use to quickly adjust it. You'd put a bit of wood in there and then you can tighten that up, and that's going to prevent the actual wood from moving around, which is nice. But for now, I'm not going to need that, so I'm just going to remove that. And then lastly, you're going to want to go ahead and grab this, which is the dust extractor adapter, and push that into the dust extraction hole here. And if you'd like to, and you're not using dust extraction, then you can use this bag that comes included. Just go ahead and slide that over, and that is going to capture some of the dust, although I'm sure it's not going to capture all of it. And if you want to know how dust extraction performs on this drill, then go ahead and click down below, where I've done a full review on this miter saw. Now, if you're like me and you got the plus pack of this miter saw, then you would have received 2 blades. You've got the multi-material blade, and then you have the wood blade. I'm personally going to put the wood blade in, but if you do plan on cutting metal or plastic or things like that, then obviously you're going to want to put that blade in. But the whole point is you can easily switch this out, so you can just refer back to this video should you decide to change them later on. So the first thing you're going to do before you get that blade on is just remove the bolt and the washer that come attached to the saw. And to do that, there is a little button that you're going to need to press on the back of the saw, which I'll show you now. Go ahead and put the Allen key in that comes with the saw and just turn that anti-clockwise, and that'll be enough to actually take the bolt and the washer out. Then what I recommend you do is actually fully set the saw up to its maximum height, move the blade guard out of the way, and that will give you enough room to slide in the blade, like I have there. And I am just going to move it down just so you have a better visibility of what I'm doing. Once you've done that, put on the washer and put in that screw by turning it anti-clockwise, and you're just looking to hand fasten this at first. Once you've got that as tight as you can get it with your fingers, go ahead and push down that button again on the back of the saw, put in the Allen key and turn this as hard as you can. You want this as tight as you can physically get it. The last thing you want is this blade spinning off and out of control when you're actually using the saw. So just make sure that that is turned as much as you can physically do that. Now, if you did buy this stand along with the mitre saw, now is a great time to actually start assembling that. And luckily for you, I have made a video doing just that. So make sure to go there next using the link in the description. And actually at this point, the assembly of the saw is done. But before you start making cuts on this saw, you're going to want to make sure that it's properly calibrated for accuracy. And to do that, you're going to want to watch this video next. Until next time, happy building.